Alone in the Dark is a game that I've been interested in since its announcement back in 2022. I'd initially planned on picking it up at release in March of 2024, but never got around to it, which is good for my wallet because about a year later it was given to PlayStation Plus Essential users for subscription. So today I thought we'd take a look at this game and see if it was a shining gem that I missed at launch, or a time hazard that I avoided for about a year.
I don't have time for any of this. Please, come back tomorrow.
All right, in that case, we'll just wait in his room. You don't mind, do you? It's upstairs, right?
Wait, you can't.
Don't worry, we'll be discreet.
In the corridor. It's the first door on your left. I'll tell Dr. Gray you're here.
Excellent. Thank you, madam.
To start with a bit of an overview for the story, we begin the game with a selection of playing as either Emily Hartwood or Edward Carnby. Emily being portrayed by actress Jodie Comer, who's apparently been in a ton of movies that I've never personally seen, and Edward, who's being portrayed by David Harbour, who's also been in a lot of stuff, but I only know from the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. Both these people do a pretty good job in their roles, but in my opinion, Harbour was a bit stilted in some of his lines, and I prefer Comer. Their stories are basically the same in terms of gameplay, but the cutscenes and dialogue will differ a good deal depending on your selection. And in the latter half, there is also a complete location that's different depending on your choice. Anyway, as for the actual story, Emily has hired Carnby after receiving a troubling letter from her uncle named Jeremy Hartwood. He's been placed in what is essentially a madhouse for the wealthy called Derceto, and he's begun to have grand delusions of the staff and other patients being in a cult, all while he's also being hunted by someone named the Dark Man. Apparently, depression and melancholy run in the Hartwood family, and Emily wants to see if there's anything that she can do for him. They arrive to find the house as fairly warm to their sudden appearance, but Jeremy has gone missing. The pair going off to search for him, leading to their long, perilous journey that takes them all around the grounds of this Louisiana mansion, as well as other locations associated with memories of the missing Hartwood. These locations often being accessed by solving little puzzles around Derceto with the aid of a medallion.
It's the talisman, like the one in the painting.
To me, the story is very difficult to understand, bordering on nonsensical at times. If you play through this game and on your first go-around understand everything that's happening, then you're operating on a mental field that I just don't have access to. Things just kind of happen, and you're left to fill in the blanks with why through documents that are complexly written and meander around the point rather than making it. All this leading up to an ending that I still don't fully comprehend. This game is meant to be played multiple times, it has 5 different endings, and begs you to discover the full narrative through collecting little trinkets that delve into different aspects surrounding the in-game universe. I don't want to get too detailed into anything, but essentially you have what's going on with Jeremy, what's going on with the other people of the house, and what's going on with our character. Jeremy's story is kind of the central focus, so when things happen outside of his purview, it's difficult to piece them in, at least for me. If you look at it in terms of actually wanting to dig deeper and deeper into the mystery, then I think this game could have a very rewarding narrative. If you're just looking to enjoy the ride though, then I would say that you're going to get lost very fast and only piece together the slightest morsels of the story. For me personally, I can enjoy either approach. I came into this game not really knowing what to expect, and it was a bit overwhelming. But once I was about halfway through my second playthrough with Emily and the pieces started falling more into place, it was nice to have those revelations as you string together the events in your mind.
How is your investigation going?
Well, I still have no clue where Jeremy is, but I think I know why he's hiding. This place is full of lunatics planning to perform some kind of ritual tonight.
As for the gameplay, Alone in the Dark is a pretty standard affair. To me, it plays like a better version of The Sinking City with melee weapons. Almost like the Silent Hill series for perhaps a more apt comparison. Shooting is tight and responsive, it feels like your bullets have some weight to them, and melee is also pretty good. Once you've picked up the mechanics, most fights will go one of 2 ways depending on how you use your ammo. The game gives you a fair bit of ammo, but if you're like me and try to conserve, then you've also got the option for melee and items that can be thrown around the environment. Either you'll mow down the enemy with your firearms, or you'll abuse the dodge mechanic to smack the monsters without taking damage. It's a pretty rudimentary system that doesn't really get aired out because you only have one boss fight at the very end of the game. There's also a sneaking option, which isn't my cup of tea. You move like a sloth, and it really only comes in handy a few times when they almost force it on you. Outside of that, you've also got puzzles, which mainly revolve around finding codes for things. One of the more prominent ones being this astrology cipher that they love to have you run numbers through. It can take a bit of time to get used to, but none of the puzzles are so complex that you'll get stuck on them for a significant amount of time if you know where you're looking.
Oh wow, I can't believe I guessed the combination. I must be some kind of genius.
Overall, I would say that the gameplay is solid but not groundbreaking. If you come out of this game with strong thoughts on anything, it's almost certainly going to be the story, because the gameplay, while entirely passable, isn't exceptionally noteworthy. Which I would say is great if I thought the story was more approachable. As it stands though, the pretty inoffensive nature of the gameplay puts the confusion you'll feel trying to grasp the story at center stage. To me, Alone in the Dark is a very solid game that needed some story revisions. I think most people will play this game once, not really make connections as to how or why events played out in the way that they did, and never touch it again. For the more curious among us, they'll play this game the first time, pick up some pieces of the picture, and then play it again, getting a more rounded understanding, and praise the cryptic but rewarding mystery. A lot of it will come down to preference. As for mine, I would give this game something like a C+. I don't think that I'm going to remember it outside of the complexities of the narrative, but that's not because I had a bad time with it. I enjoy the characters, mysterious as they may be. I enjoy the environments, some of them more so than others, and I also like that they took a chance on a more cerebral tale, even if I think that it got a bit too confusing. Anyway, if you've played it, let me know what you think. If you're interested in me trying to decode the story that I've just spent this whole review telling you is confusing, then stick around because I'm going to give that a shot in an upcoming video. But either way, I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all in the next one.